And we are back. Welcome back to Clubhouse Conversations. My name is Brian Penny. I am the owner and editor of Clubhouse Conversations on Reddit and Substack, along with some other places. I was a Clubhouse user for 3 months, and I'm the only human being who attended all 51 of the Creator First pilot season finalists shows. And we have now the list of the 25 people who were chosen, so I'm going through this list to kind of outline what they did on the show and why it was they were selected and whether it was a good or a bad thing. And overall, it's an okay class. I can't talk right now. Overall, it's an okay class, but there are a few things that kind of annoy me with it. Today, we are going over the Frontier Psychiatrists, who are a husband and wife team of trained medical doctor psychiatrists. It's Carlene MacMillan and Owen Muir. Dr. Carlene MacMillan and Owen Muir, MD. And this one, so what they did, they are the also the heads of Sphere, and they ran a, here we go. They ran a room where they brought in, what's his name again? Fredrick Brennan, who is Fredrick Brennan, I can say this, who is the founder of 8chan. If you don't know what 4chan and 8chan are, I definitely recommend going in and look at them. 4chan is one of the dark places on the internet. It's basically like a troll forum where a lot of the craziest, meanest memes you've ever seen have come from. And 8chan is kind of a nicer version of that, I guess. More, I don't know, fact-based, we'll call it. And this one was interesting because there's a lot of things that were going on here, is that both of these, the husband and wife, were in Miley's little Survivor back channel where all of the finalists were talking. They also had some friendships, and they were keeping track of their own thing, their own score, because they knew what they were doing. And they also spoke with Paul and Rohan, or people at Clubhouse, during this finalist thing, and they were speaking to me. Carlene was actually, she still is a paid subscriber of my newsletter, and she was subscribed well before I ever got to her her pilot. So we were all keeping track of this together, and kind of, she was good about not swaying anything, and she didn't talk to me until after, she talked to me a little bit before all of the pilot season started, and then she talked to me after it was all over. But like during it, she was good about keeping away from me and making sure to try to keep it as unbiased as possible. When we got to this one, though, because she's a psychiatrist and we had to talk about mental health, my own mental health is what I focused on in this entire thing, because if you're not aware, this is the autism shirt that I have. One of the things, I've been diagnosed as autistic and bipolar. I'm also a bit OCD. I've got some things, but I actually went to a mental health inpatient treatment center not long ago, last November, before I turned 40. I went through and decided I was going to spend a week in there getting, basically, I mean, they hooked up a whole bunch of diodes to my head, and they measured everything, and they went through all these things to basically find out that I've got like a Wolverine level of recovery skills in my brain. I mean, they literally, I should go find that binder. It's like this thick binder of like all these doctors, like a dozen doctors of different specialties, all went through and like ran different tests on me to give me like a full thing of what my mental health is. And it was great. It was a nice time. Most people, I mean, I call it a mental health inpatient treatment facility. People call it rehab. I spent like 10 grand for that week. And so, I mean, it was not cheap. I tell you that. Insurance won't cover it. No insurance you have is going to cover it unless you've got like a badass insurance company. And even then, if you go in there on insurance, there's so many weird rules. They have to make you sign into so many things. But it's a lot of good stuff. There's like equine therapy, horses, for those of you who don't know, water therapy, this giant pool to do a bunch of water sports. There's like a bunch of hiking trails we'd go on, do the 12-step programs, free food all the time. You go in there with a bunch of different people that were all there for different reasons. Most of them were forced in there. I was the only person actually that checked myself in. But yeah, I ended up basically trauma dumping throughout this entire review about the discrimination that I had faced for my neurodiversity, and how basically this autism, these puzzle pieces were used against me by one of the people in Paul's inner circle in the news thing. I basically got harassed. I got gaslit. She attempted to make me look like I'm some sort of like lawnmower man monster and tried to use all these really gross Hollywood stereotypes to make it look like because I have some kind of like I've been diagnosed with something that somehow makes me like a retard monster or some shit. Like it was bad. She's a lunatic. That woman is just disgusting. And but yeah, the whole point of why these people got an A, by the way, has nothing to do with the fact that they were already going to win because they were smart and they got into the inner circle and they played the games, but also because they're psychiatrists. They're actually trained doctors. They belong on somewhere talking about like these kind of things. Like they are the people that Clubhouse should be trusting. I mean, not specifically just them, because God only knows what specifically like their personal goals are with all of this, but trained doctors are the ones that should be doing everything. And I've seen doctors get attacked just for trying to clear up COVID and vaccination like beliefs, much less like mental health. Mental health is the most stigmatizing thing in the entire world. And so, I mean, I've talked to Dr. MacMillan. She's extremely intelligent. She's very personable. She's extremely friendly. She knows what she's talking about. She is open to psychedelics and all these kind of things. She's not stuck in that stringent thing that some psychiatrists are. If you don't know the difference between psychology and psychiatry, a psychologist basically talks to you, and a psychiatrist gives you drugs. And so they tend to lean towards, like, I'm a medical marijuana patient and in Arizona, and I've had a card for years. I'm on a state database for a state approved health thing, and I go there every year. I do different things for it. And they basically tried to get me off of that and get me onto their prescription drugs, like these kind of things that they wanted to get me onto. This is one of the prescriptions they gave me, hydroxyzine pamoate, some shit. And that's what they want you to do, is take all these pills instead of I don't take any of those. I keep them there just in case. But that one's an anti-anxiety one. They gave me like 15 different things they wanted me to try, and I tried a couple of them. Some of them were kind of fun. I'm all for drug experimentation. Like, if you give me some drugs, I'll try it once just to see what it'll do. But like, it's just ridiculous. Like, I could just smoke weed. I could take some shrooms, go on a journey, and be fine. Like, I don't need to have to go through and have them prescribing all that stuff. 90% of the stuff that they were diagnosing me with then that week that I went there, like, I already understood it. Like, I already got it. I'm 40 years old. Like, I've been diagnosed, but like, I was going in there just to get, I mean, let the latest technology in mental health, just to go in for like a checkup. Like, I feel everybody should go in for mental checkups and mental health. And I mean, it's not even just them. There's a lot of people that run different support groups for mental health on Clubhouse. It's one of the better things that you can do on there, is go into a support group and just kind of talk it out with other people. Clubhouse, though, I would be wary of doing so because of all the privacy and security concerns. And then obviously they've hired, besides these people, they've hired other people who, they're not trained counselors. They're not licensed. They're not certified. They're not board certified. They should not be giving you any kind of anything. They should not be talking about anything that they're talking about. They're just amateurs who are drug enthusiasts and are trying to, or who want to build up a mean girl clique off of a support group. That's not what that's supposed to be. I mean, you can go to other places. In the Rooms is a great free resource if you need any kind of mental health support. They do 12-step programs for everything: victims of domestic violence, families of alcohol, Alkanon, drug abuse, all sorts of sexual abuse, what is it called? Like the sex addiction and relationship addiction, codependency, grieving, all sorts of stuff. They have constantly, these people run these groups, these support groups out of churches and out of just for free, volunteer the kindness of their heart. Like, these are the kind of things that you can do. You don't have to spend the $10,000 I did to have like a dozen doctors look at you for a week. And I mean, one way or the other, wherever you fit on that scale, at least look at people that like this, like Dr. Carlene MacMillan and Dr. Owen Muir from Sphere. At least they're doctors. I mean, they mean well. They are open to things beyond what they're better than an actual psychiatrist. Honestly, the time that I got with them was more valuable for me than anything else. Like, I would have spent $1,000, probably more, to get that kind of time that I did one-on-one with the psychiatrist. And I mean, I think it's great. I think that that's something that is a good part of Clubhouse to connect with. But I mean, you don't need Clubhouse to do that. You can get a hold of either one of these doctors on Twitter, in social media, through their website. There are so many other places you can do it that you don't need to see them on Clubhouse. Just be happy that they're making $5,000 a piece. By the way, they're both married, living in the same household, and share taxes and stuff. But like, they got 10 grand total, whereas some of these other people, they did not have that chance. They did not know that they also, on top of getting their show, they had to also play these little games, get into Miley's little inner circle and get into the inner circle of Clubhouse. But it is what it is. The white people got paid off of all this. But anyway, mental health is good. These doctors are great. And this has been Brian P. Clubhouse Conversations, and I will see